Konnichiwa and welcome back to Chron Reviews. It's time for yet another Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom toy review from Mattel's lineup, and it's not any figure. This time it's time for a bundle pack, which is basically a big box with multiple figures inside, and it's one of the dinos I've been wanting from the start, but since this was announced I held back on it. And it's nothing less than the Quest for the Indominus Rex box that includes the Mosasaurus, the submarine, a mercenary, and a skeleton of the Indominus Rex. And for those who already have those two, this pack is probably not much to gain from, except if you really want the Indominus skeleton and maybe you wouldn't mind multiples of the others, or if you want to sell them. And the mercenary is basically the same mercenary that is in the separate pack, except that you don't get the accessories like the taser stuff and the Dimorphodon. But for me, who does not have any of them, this package is something I really wanted. Because it's good value. You basically get half the submarine and the Indominus skeleton and the mercenary for free. So, except that I had to pay some more in shipping and stuff from the United States to get this thing, but it still saved me from buying everything separately. And since I don't have the others that this set includes, this review will be my review for both the Mosasaurus submarine, this box as a whole with the Indominus skeleton and the mercenary. I will not review the separate mercenary, but I will get it for the accessories, of course. And to note, since I don't have the other separate ones, I can't compare if they are different, but I trust other reviews I've seen of this set. They clearly stated that it's the same figures. The only new thing is the Indominus skeleton. So there's no differences, except for minor production differences like slight variations in the paint jobs, quality and all those sort of things. And the box, man, it's beautiful. This box is very display friendly too, because even if you open it up, you don't need to damage the exterior like you have to do with the clam packages. If you want to figure out, you will damage the clam package, it's just to throw it away. The same with those open packages, they are not very attractive without the dinosaur inside, so if you want to display them you need a dinosaur inside. However, this set, it's beautiful. It looks great, except maybe you will not see a submarine inside here if you bring it out. Because you can see the submarine here and the mercenary is inside. It looks really great. And it's neatly placed on the artwork of the submarine itself. I like that. And the layout of the box is a standard cage design with own and blue here. It says Quest for the Indominus Rex pack includes, and it's the Mosasaurus submarine, mercenary and Indominus skeleton. But it's no volcano backdrop or no rainy forest backdrop. It's a nice artwork piece of the Mosasaurus attacking the submarine with the Indominus skeleton on the bottom. I really like it. And on the top it's simply, it says Quest for Indominus Rex and there's some metal plating and the logo. Let's check if there is something specific on the bottom. Nope, just some information and licensing and stuff. And to the one side here's water and seabed and the logo, and the same is on this side. And then we'll go on and check the back. Here we can see what it includes again, and here's some advertising for some mini dinos. It's the Wave 2 blind bags, because there is a Spinosaurus and Metriacanthosaurus and stuff, the Indoraptor and some vehicles, and so that's different. It also have the Jurassic Facts app. I'm pretty sure it's the same one as the standard Mosasaurus. I don't think there are two different Mosasauruses in the Jurassic Facts app. And it shows that you can move the arms on the submarine and it have light up. So it does have LED lights inside. Work with figures, it says. Floats. Submerges. So yeah, it actually is waterproof, the hatch, so it will not damage the electronics. At least it should not do that. So you can submerge it and have it on top. I'm not sure if you do something specific to submerge it or not. I will have to check that on the figure itself. The Mosasaurus says nothing in specific, but it's articulated, I know that much. And as far as I've heard, it can be used in water. I'm not sure if it's meant to, but it's pretty much plastic and rubber. It will not get damaged because there are no metal parts, as far as I know, that can rust or anything like that. And I'm pretty sure it's the same goes for the Indominus skeleton if you want to have it on the bottom of the seabed. Alright, the box is opened and everything is assembled. So let's simply work our way upwards from the least interesting into the most interesting part of the box. And go through each thing individually at first before comparing them. So first off is the mercenary. He is basically, well, he is the exact same mercenary we get in the single human figure pack. And he's pretty much, he looks like a standard guard or agent guy with sunshades. So it's pretty generic. So having two of this guy, if you want the one with accessories, it works fine for me. I'm going to do that simply for the accessories. I want that taser stuff. Because Owen was fighting one of the guys, having one of those in the movie and all that. It makes for a good display. And the Dimorphodon is a nice bonus. But you basically get this guy for free in this box, so there's nothing you lose. You have someone to put into the submarine or carry some spare accessories, whatever you want. So the figure itself is pretty nice. He's pretty clean, he's pretty decent. He sports the articulated head, ball jointed but a little bit limited up and down, so mostly to the sides. And ball jointed shoulders, elbow joints, torso joint, ball jointed legs, knee joints that can also turn like this. And he have a pistol in a holster here. There's a peg so you can attach it to the leg, but it pushes outwards if you move the leg, sort of. It's a nice figure. You get another body for the dinosaurs to eat. So if they had repainted him to look like a different person, or had some other variant, it would be a nicer touch, but I won't complain since it's basically for free. So simply, he goes well with Owen. Just like that. He's about the same size. He's slightly taller, I think, and he's more buff. And just like any human, he's smaller than the Kenner humans. So here's Alan Grant for reference. And let me just get his boss. Here he is together with Wheatley. So finally, Wheatley have one of his thugs to help him out. And I really want the new mercenary because it's nice too. And the one with Stiggy, the story pack. So building up a little squad for Wheatley. So putting him aside for now. Next up, let's take the submarine. Let's take the camera back slightly here. Whoops. You heard what I had down there. It's the Fresh and Fro T-Rex, but that's for later comparison. Right now, here we have the submarine. And this one is, as far as I know, pretty much accurate to the one in Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom. and it's pretty much yellow plastic with grey plastic and all those sort of things. But it's a nice thing. It's nice to have a vehicle, and for the first time a vehicle that can submerge. So simply to put the human figures inside it, you can open the canopy like this. So there we have some details inside. It's nothing too fancy. There are a lot of panels here and 2 seats. So let's do this. Let's put the mercenary inside here. Yeah, that's why the holster can be like that, in order to allow him to sit. So a little bit weird pose though, but at least he's sitting. There's no real isolating rubber here or anything, so I assume the canopy will be filled with water when you submerge it, but I will trust Mattel that it works, that the LED light part is waterproof. But then you can close it like this, and he is inside. Those arms can turn like this, and like this, and you can turn like that, and this part can grip. So that's where you grip the bones of the Indominus Rex. They are slightly limited, but it works. And the saw part can rotate, and it's the same type of articulation there. So let's have it like that for now. Also, when you submerge it, those parts comes off. They are the water tubes. You press them on like that, and the tube here, this tube, will slot into here. And you can also open it up like this. So you can fill those with water. It said so in the description, in the manual. So if you want to submerge it, you fill those with water. And in order to submerge it, I'm pretty sure the canopy will be filled automatically, since it will leak in here. I have very hard imagining that that's actually totally waterproof. And it didn't say in the manual, it only talked about those two. However, I'm pretty sure this piece here is also how you fill the rest of the main body with water in order to submerge it fully, because otherwise it will float. But I think maybe it's to enable it to float at different stages. So if you fill those but not this, it will float down slightly and all that. And this side also, it's the same thing. So this is probably pretty much rubber, and this frontal part is hard. And taking up a little closer look, it's not much paint, but more like different colors of plastic on this one. There's the Jurassic World logo there, and that's for the brand, because the submarine in the movie did not have that, of course. But there's some paint here, but that's nice. And some lines here. It would be cool if those lights were working, but they do not. But overall, a pretty clean vehicle. So let's check out the main feature, which is the light. You press the button up here, and it's sort of rubbery, so it's probably covered with rubber to be the waterproof. So you press it, and it will light up inside. It will go in some cycles of light like that. There we go. Now you can clearly see it. Let's see if it goes. The cycles are different each time you press it. Interesting. But it's a nice feature. So you can play with it underwater and have it light up inside. That's cool. And that's when the Mosasaurus sneaks up and bites through it. And there we go. So let's put the submarine aside and go straight into the next thing, which is the Indominus Rex skeleton. And I will need to back off the camera even more and move the Rex again. It's big, this. There you can see a little sneak of the Mosasaurus tail. But here we go. Here is the Indominus Rex skeleton. And this thing is big. It's probably the size that the Indominus Rex will have when they do one. I'm pretty sure they will do one. It's pretty much confirmed, not officially stated, but it's pretty much confirmed that they are about to do one. And this thing, it's big. It's pretty much beige plastic with some texturing inside. Let's take a closer look. So there's some minor texture in it, like the plastic is textured. There's no real paint job, but there's articulation in the skull. You can turn this up and down, and you can open and close the jaw. I'm a little bit split between if this really looks like Indominus or if it's more T-Rex, but it's certainly Indominus enough. And the arms are slightly longer, maybe a bit too short for Indominus actually, but I'm not complaining. This is a nice bonus we got. And as far as I've heard, it also goes well together with those other skeleton models that Mattel did. I'm not sure what they are called, but it's a nice touch. And the plastic is slightly bendy, so it will probably endure. And it's like quite good articulation there. And the arms can turn like this and go outward and inward slightly. They were a little bit hard to loosen up at the start. I was almost afraid breaking it, but it seems like they will hold up. And the torso can turn like this and click into different stages, so it can like be together like that, like that. It's probably for the weight of the front body. It needs to be upheld. The same goes with the legs. They are clicking like that. Probably to uphold it as well. The same goes with the knees. And it also have a foot joint like that. It's the same with both legs. And the tail is also jointed slightly loose, but it still upholds. And it's a little bit bendy. Not overly rubber, but slightly bendy plastic. It's sturdier than the plastic on the attack pack arms and legs and stuff. But it's a nice thing. One pointer I would have thought was really cool if they did was if you could split one of the ribs, or like at least remove one of the ribs, in order to have the submarine grip it and bring it to the surface with it. I don't think you can remove any of the ribs. It would be cool. It would be nice play value to do that, but this is a super nice bonus we get, so I'm not complaining. So it's poseable and it can stand very well. Means that if you want to display an Indominus skeleton standing, you can do that, but if you want to display it laying down, like on the seabed, you can do that too. You just put it like that and you pose it however you want in a laying down pose. I'm not going to do that now though, because I'm going to compare it to the Thrash and Throw T-Rex. And as you can see, it actually is slightly taller So the back of the Indominus is actually at the T-Rex neck. It means it's taller. You can see the head towers up. Let's put them like this. You can see that the Indominus is taller, and that's pretty much correct size. Just because, but this one is a lot more skinny because, well, it's dead. But you can see it's a really nice thing. They scaled it up pretty well with the T-Rex. So this one will be pretty much in scale with when they do an upcoming Indominus. Even if the proportions might be different, it will still look really great. There it goes again, stomping. But I think they did a nice job on this one. You basically get it for free, so I talk a lot about that with getting it for free, but I'm just amazed how good value this bundle is. And now, for the final thing about this review, and here it is, the real feel Mosasaurus. And this thing is a beast. It's big, probably not as big as the Fallen Kingdom sizing because it was really enormous in there. It grew since the first movie, and that would not be a real good playable size. So I think this is a good in-between sizing between the movies, and it's probably quite close to the first movie, maybe slightly smaller, but at least close. But it's bigger than the T-Rex, not as big as the Colossal, but bigger than standard T-Rex. And that is more than good enough for me. And it had to be assembled by the tail and the flippers. You clicked them in, and they are articulated, they can rotate, and they are ball jointed like this. All four of them. But they goes nicely. So you can pose it like, you can have it stand on the flippers like a lot of people do, like this if you want. It's pretty nice. And the jaw is articulated. The lower jaw is this semi-flexible plastic, and the upper jaw is squishy. And it got this nice paint job going on all over, with tone from white, or at least a bright grey, greyish white, into a blue, into a darker blue, and then it have these textures there, almost like if reflexes from the water are touching it, like. And the color continues all the way to the tail, something that I missed on the Colossal and Fresh and Fro actually, because they were quite cheap on the paint job on the tail. But this one goes nicely up here, and it have green eyes. The eyes are a bit flat colored, so they feel a little bit lackluster, but at the same time most of the dinosaurs in the line are like that. So there's nothing to really complain about. The only thing on my Mosasaurus, I'm not saying everyone is like that, but I have a little complaint on the tail, because the attachment, it seems like they glued the rubber slightly off, so it when it's at maximum pushed in, it's not that visible on this side, but on this side you can see there's a huge gap here. At least not giganormous, but it's like the wall you pressed against inside or outside the rubber line instead of lined up with the rubber line. So there's a gap there. I can live with it, but I wish it was not there. And there are minor white paint chipping or maybe paint mistakes, but they are minor. There's some chipping under the tail and here, but it could be a lot worse. All in all, it's a really good figure when it comes to the quality. So let's take a closer look at it. Before I go into the details themselves, here are the Jurassic Facts app code. And here you can see what I mean about the gap. So I can't get it further in than this, but it looks good from this side. But it's a little bit worse on this side. You can like hide it slightly with the flipper. So as I said, it bothers me a little bit, but I can still live with it. But the paint job in general, it's really neat. I mean, it's not much shading or stuff, but the different tonings makes it more, it looks more alive compared to the others. And there are even some toning of darker blue on the flippers. It's just one colored on the underside, but that's no big deal, because on the upside it matches up with the body. The same with the tail. It has some nice it's just like 2 tones of blue and a white tone, but they did a great job combining those to make it feel not plain but quite alive. And the sculpture itself, it looks really accurate. I think it looks pretty much as it should look. And on the inside you have a nicely painted inside, slightly shiny inside of the mouth. There's a little bit of white mispainting on the tongue, and sadly the extra teeth in here that it's known for are not painted. I wish they were. So that's another issue, but since it would have been way worse if they did not paint the outer teeth. But they are thankfully painted, and quite nicely too. And the eye is very clean. It's pretty flat in green and a black pupil, but it's clean. And it's no mistakes on either eye. That's good. And mine closes pretty well. It goes down slightly after closing, but I've seen people having a lot worse, with the mouth going like all the way down, like that far when being closed. But mine goes up like this, and that's good. So my expectations on the Mosasaurus is pretty much what I expected, and I'm pretty much pleased with that. So let's do some comparison in size here. You can check. Here's Owen, and he looks pretty much as Zara sized up when she got eaten. So let's put in this Pteranodon here. If you put this in its mouth, okay, let's see if it can. Okay, it's too big for having it closing the mouth to lock, but it sizes up pretty well. Pteranodon should probably be slightly smaller, but as I've said in the review of the Pteranodon I did earlier, the Pteranodon is a bit oversized, so that's just to be expected. But a human goes in nicely and you close like that. So he can be totally eaten. And that's fine. Then we have Blue, of course. Sized up well. So for Kenner, it's probably the scientific size of the Mosasaurus, because in both Fallen Kingdom it's way oversized, and in Jurassic World it's just oversized. But with Kenner it's probably quite scientifically correctly sized. And then we have the submarine to compare. So of course we all know that have seen Fallen Kingdom, spoiler alert, that the Mosasaurus opens its jaws all the way over the submarine and closes it and totally crushes it. That's off screen of course, but we see the jaws coming in on top and on bottom of the submarine, and That makes this Mosasaurus way undersized for the sub. I'm not sure if the sub are over or undersized or spot on really, because it's a quite small sub they have. Maybe it's a bit oversized, I'm not 100% sure, but this one is definitely more close to the Jurassic World size of the Mosasaurus. And then we have the T-Rex. Let's see here. So if we consider, we never saw them body to body, but we just saw them, it like jumped up and grabbed the neck of the Indominus Rex, and that's pretty much correct in size, I think. Maybe it's a little bit undersized, but not by much. It can bite down and grab the neck with ease, so I think it's pretty decent size for the T-Rex. The T-Rex is a little bit, it's a matchup for any Rex-sized dinosaur, so the Indominus skeleton, yeah, it's pretty much correct. I'd say it's very much so. So let's put it all together. You can play with this set pretty nicely. So let's do this. It's in Indominus Rex skeleton here. They take that and they grab a rib and stuff to saw it off, and then the Mosasaur comes from behind or like this and bites it apart. That's it. It opens up a lot of playability for kids. This set is very, it's well done. It's a really good bundle. It's worth the cash, unless you get scalped on eBay. It's very much worth the cash because you get a lot of good content. If you don't have either of the submarine, mercenary or Mosasaurus, maybe not the mercenary, not so important, but the submarine and the Mosasaurus, if you don't have any of them, and if you do want them, both, and if you don't mind some really nice extras for free, like this awesome stuff, then I'd say get this set. Ignore the separate sets, unless you want to have them in package, of course, and display them differently. I'd say get this set because it's awesome. And I've been looking forward for the Mosasaurus for so long now. I'm so glad to finally have this thing. And to have some nice bonuses with it. So I'm very happy with this one. It could have had a separate rib to take by the submarine, but that was just a playability idea I had. So overall, I'm very happy with the skeleton. Really good job, Mattel. And I'm also very happy with the submarine. It's nice to have another vehicle in the collection. And to have an extra mercenary, of course. Well, this is my first one, so you get my point on it. So when I get the other one, I will not review it just for the accessories. It feels like excessive reviewing. And finally, the Mosasaurus, except for the little issue with my tail and minor paint chipping. They're very minor, there's no big deal. And maybe that the inner teeth are not painted. Except for that, this one is one hell of a toy. It have a nicely toned paint job. It got basic but nice articulation. There are no electronics, so you can pretty much put it into water because it will probably float, but it will not get destroyed. As far as I know, there are no metals that can rust or stuff, because I think Mattel confirmed that it will not get ruined by water, so you can't play it with water. Maybe you just have to turn it around to like pour the water that comes inside out and let it dry for a bit, but other than that it's pretty safe. And I trust Mattel that the part where the LED lights are waterproof, because it says that it can submerge, so I trust them on that. because the canopy is definitely going to leak in water, so the human will drown. But kids will not play at that they drown. They will of course ignore that fact. But there are nothing that really keeps it shut enough. And also, to submerge fully you need to have water in the canopy, because otherwise the canopy will be one big air bubble that floats. So I hope you enjoyed this review and that you consider getting this set if you don't have the figures already. It's a really good set and really good value. So until next time, take care and sayonara!